There's nothing quite like the feeling right before the holidays, right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas. If you're an advertiser and you've been doing this a while, you know what I mean, but it's like a mixture of anxiety, excitement, hope, So in today's video, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm gonna be doing in the ad accounts that I'm managing and how I'm gonna scale them to an entirely new level. If you haven't watched my previous video, I'll put it right here. Watch this one first, okay? And then we're gonna talk tactically today about what exactly I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna set up my campaign, how I'm gonna scale, and it's gonna give you a playbook, right? If you're late to the game, you don't have a strategy, this video is gonna save you this year. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, you guys, so we are going to look through one of the ad accounts that I've been managing this year and show you basically the journey from February of 2025 until today, which is when I started working on it. And I'm gonna show you the playbook that we're gonna run for Black Friday. And yeah, we'll check back in maybe January, February 2026 and show you the progress. So check this out. Okay, so we're in the ad account. First of all, this is in dirhams. Okay, so I'm gonna have the currency exchange to US dollars on the screen. They created this ad account when they were in Dubai, so that's why it's like this. But either way, let's show you where we started. So February 1st through the 28th, 2025. So again, this is a digital product. Okay, these are courses, and yeah, so their break even is 1x. Okay, so 1.7x is actually quite good for them. And you can see they were spending about 105,000 dirhams, 105,900 dirhams to USD. That's about $28,000 a month on ads. Okay, so if you think about it, that's like $900 a day on ads when I took over. Okay, so let's walk through the months and see kind of how this went. So we're at 105,000 dirhams at a 1.7. I immediately saw that basically the ROAS was too high, right? When you see people flexing about like a super high ROAS, all I can think is, man, you're leaving money on the table. So immediately took it to 300,000 dirhams at a 1.37. So I'm just kind of stress testing. This client has many businesses and I run ads for those businesses as well. So I kind of know how far I can push these things. So here, I took it to 300,000 dirhams at a 1.37 in March. In April, 545,000 dirhams at a 1.24x ROAS. So you can see, like, basically I took it from 100,000 dirhams or 28K in spend to 500,000 dirhams, which is like 128K in spend, right? So I think, hold on, let me check. Yeah, 150K in spend. So you can see I scaled pretty aggressively here because the results were showing me that I could, so I did, right? And I did this obviously by horizontally launching new campaigns, but I also vertically scaled as well, which is increasing the budgets, doubling the budgets, or increasing by 50%, stuff like this. Okay, great. Now we're in May. This is where we start to run into some trouble. Okay, May, June, July, like summers are typically pretty slow for this business, so I had to pull back. We started seeing worse results, so I had to downscale pretty aggressively to recover the average. So you can see before I was at 1.24, spending 545,000 dirhams a month, and then you can see here I had to drop it to 370,000 dirhams a month. And barely, we're at 1.16, which is like, it's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not where we want to be. Okay, so I had to downscale. Now June comes. Even worse, I continue to downscale just to bring our average up. We like to be around 1.2 at a bare minimum. Okay, July. Okay, we start seeing some better results. 374,000 dirhams at a 1.28. Great. August, 445,000 dirhams at a 1.16. So I'm starting to see better results, but I'm also scaling, so the ROAS is coming down. 497,000 dirhams at a 1.15. Okay, so I'm still trying to push the spend up, okay? And this is in anticipation for the holidays, okay? If you watched my previous video, you know I talk about just slowly building up that spend like a crescendo heading into the holiday period. And why do we do this? Well, you know, those of you that are willing to accept a higher CAC in these months are going to dominate the auction during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, right? I'm also trying to set a high jumping off point for my scale. So I want to be spending as much as possible heading into the holidays. That way I can take it to the absolute next level. So let's continue. We're at 1.15, about 500,000 dirhams. And now October, which is last month, spending about 450,000 dirhams at a 1.23. Results are starting to improve, okay? And then so far this month, today's the 9th, we can see we're spending 138,000 dirhams in the first 9 days, and we're at a 1.4. So we can see results are improving, which is excellent. So what's the plan? Okay, let's get to the plan. So the plan is this. As you can see, I've tried to establish as many evergreen campaigns as I can. These are my evergreens, okay? I'm trying to push the spends up on those as best as I can, right? So anything that's at around like a 1.5 or above, I'm gonna wanna kind of scale basically. I still have some, campaigns and creatives that I'm trying to test, even up until now. Like I'll probably launch some new creatives tonight to start tomorrow to see if I can establish like 1 or 2 more winners before the holidays. But that's it. That's gonna be my base, right? That's my foundation of the ad account. Once we start heading into the holidays, I'm gonna stop scaling these. I'm just gonna leave them alone for the most part, unless the numbers are crazy. For the most part, I'm gonna leave these alone, okay? But what am I gonna do? I'm gonna look through the ads for this year. So I'm gonna go, let's call it January till now, right? I'm gonna sort by amount spent, and I'm just gonna go down the list and see, okay, what are the ads that like worked, right? What are the ads that did really well this year? Those are gonna be the ones that I turn around and make promotional Black Friday type ads with that creative. So primarily this business uses static images, which makes it nice and easy. But we can see here, like this one spent a lot of money and was at a 1.22, that's acceptable. 1.29, acceptable. 1.21, acceptable. 1.47, I'll skip this one's like break even. 1.47, great. 1.24, 1.21, boom. So basically I'm just putting a check mark next to all the ones that are like, I would consider acceptable and I would want to try to take further during Black Friday, right? I'm primarily basing it off of high ROAS at a high spend, right? That's essentially what we look at in this account. And this ad account actually under reports a bit, but it is what it is, right? I'm looking at the back end numbers. So let's just say there. Now I have 17 ads, right, that are proven, right? These are, they have a lot of spend through them, they have a ton of purchases, and they have decently high ROAS at a high spend. I'm gonna turn around and ask my client to make promo campaigns with this creative. So just slap a Black Friday sale on top. And then what we're gonna do is create a promotional campaign. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate this. Let's just do this as an example. I see there's some that are not behaving. 1 second. It's not letting me duplicate because of, I think some of these are dynamic creatives. And I know which ones they are, so there we go. So we'll create a new campaign. We'll call it, let's just imagine we were launching on the 10th. Right? Cool. So here we go. We're duplicating these in. Great. Now, throughout this process, I've been starting my campaigns at around 3,000 dirhams a day, which is, let's call it $800 a day, right? That's my like comfort zone in this ad account where I'm like not too afraid that it's going to break. So that's where I'm going to start this campaign, right? Great. Now I'm going to take the best targeting that I've done from my best campaign. So I might look back. I already know what it is, but just for you guys to figure it out, you just look at this year, you look at your ad sets, and you say, okay, this one spent quite a lot and it had a good return. So did this one. Let's use this targeting, right? So here I basically use the top countries that we found gave us good results, and I'm going completely broad here. That gave me the best results. Perfect. That's what I'm going to use for my promo campaign in terms of my targeting. Great. So I would edit this. This has a bunch of countries, so I would have to remove it. It's going to take too long for this video. But the point is I would change this to look exactly like the one that performed really well for me. Perfect. Now I have my promo ads. So essentially here I would leave this all the same, but the only thing that I would change is put a Black Friday label on top of these creatives that have proven to work. Okay. Now, I may create a few of these, right? I might not put them all into one. I might do, like 3 or 4 promo campaigns just so I have some optionality. But the point is this. When Black Friday comes around, right, that is going to be the primary campaign that I'm going to scale, okay? I'm not going to be going crazy touching all my campaigns because there's a decent chance that you'll break them, right? And we want to keep our evergreens safe. We want to guard those because those are going to be the base or the foundation of our ad account for next year. And I'm not in this to scale super hard and then crash. I'm in this to continuously scale year after year, okay? And that's what I've done with this client with some of their other businesses. So I'm trying to do that again with this business. So let's say Black Friday comes around or the week of Black Friday comes around. What am I going to do? Okay, so I'll have had launched my promo campaigns probably on the 10th or the 17th. Okay, so I have like, let's call it 3 or 4 promo campaigns with like 5 to 10 of the best creatives that we have. And then I'm going to watch the results carefully and we'll start scaling. Now, I'm going to be scaling those promo campaigns. Okay, I'm going to be vertically scaling those promo campaigns and watching basically the ROAS, watching the spend, and watching the back end numbers of their system. Okay, so I need to watch the actuals and be calculating my true ROAS here because I can't really depend on the ads manager. First of all, I know it's underreporting, and number 2, it's slow. It doesn't report fast enough for me to make decisions. So once we head into, let's call it the week before Black Friday, demand is starting to surge, right? I might have to be watching the ad account, every few hours, checking on the back end numbers, scaling a little bit, watching the numbers, right? But when it comes to actual like Black Friday, the morning of Black Friday, we're going to see an entirely different story here. We're going to see really, really inflated ROASs. We're going to see a ton of sales, right? And so what are we going to do? Again, on Black Friday, that whole weekend, Cyber Monday, maybe even Tuesday, I'm on the computer all day, okay? And I'm basically like a day trader in a way, right? Where I am surf scaling my promo campaigns. I might, depending on how risky I want to be, I might scale some of my evergreens. Let's say normally I'm getting a 1.5 to a 2x in the account. Well, if I'm seeing a 5x, 6x, 7x, then I'm going to scale it, right? If I don't, I'm leaving money on the table. So when it comes to surf scaling on Black Friday, you increase budgets. There's kind of a gambling aspect here. Okay, you have to be very careful and measured. But let's say you double a budget right away. Boom, your ROAS is 5x, and typically you see 1.5 to 2. Okay, you double the budget. Perfect. Now you're watching the back end numbers and your spend very carefully and seeing how are the numbers shaking out. Are your results improving? Is your ROAS continuing to go up? If they are, then boom, you double it again, right? And that's kind of the way. It's like there's no like perfect methodical way to do this. It's just, if the results are going up, meaning your ROAS is going up or your CPA is going down, then you need to scale harder. Okay, you might do this 3, 4, 5, 10 times in the same day. Okay, now what's tricky is if you're trying to hit a certain number of spend, you might have to put an inflated budget to meet it. Like if you're scaling, let's say at 6 p.m. and you're like seeing amazing results and you're trying to spend a certain amount before the reset at midnight, you might have to put 5 times the amount of spend in terms of your budget to actually spend the amount you want. So that gets really tricky, okay? So again, there's no perfect way to do that, but you just have to be careful with your spends because you can overspend, right? So what I always tell people is like, don't spend more than you're willing to lose, obviously. It's like any investment, any trading kind of situation. So yeah, what typically happens is Black Friday is insane. The weekend starts to dip off. It's still strong, but it's not as strong. And then Cyber Monday is insane again. And sometimes that lasts through Tuesday. A lot of people cut off their ads like, oh, Black Friday's over, turn it off. Not always the best strategy, okay? There's a double-edged sword. If you have said sale ends on this day, then of course you have to end the sale on that day. It's going to be really, really powerful in terms of an urgency tactic because you're going to see a spike in sales right at the last minute and then you cut it off, right? And then it all stops, or it stops like dramatically. If you don't specifically say when your Black Friday sale ends, then you can run it forever. I mean, not forever, but as long as you want, right? And that's honestly what I recommend people. Like if you see insane results and you are making a ton of profit and you're very happy with it, why are you going to stop your own success and turn it off prematurely if it's working for you? So if you see that, let it run a few days, let it run for a little while. Collect your profits, and then once you start seeing results dip off, okay, then you can stop, right? But don't turn it off just because you told yourself, I'm going to turn it off after X date. If you haven't communicated that to the public, right? If you haven't said sale ends on this date, then I would argue leave it on as long as it's producing you results and bringing you profit, okay? So that's generally my strategy, guys. So I'm going to be scaling the promo campaigns really hard on Friday. I might have to downscale a little bit on Saturday, Sunday. And then again, I'm going to go really, really hard on Monday and maybe Tuesday. In terms of the settings, like for the most part, I'm going highest volume, okay? I have been experimenting with bid caps, cost caps. I do that to, just get a little extra scale there too. If you're in front of the ads manager all day, that's perfectly fine for you to do because you can react to the changes. It's just, you may want to have some campaign spending limits just in case if you're using some inflated budget strategies. Just be careful, guys, overall. Don't get too much into a frenzy, like stay measured, stay disciplined, be like, stone cold while you're doing this. Just let the numbers tell you what you need to do. And I think you'll have great success. But don't get too caught up in, oh my God, I got to make all this money now. Ultimately, yes, we're trying to make as much money as possible during this period, but you have to think long term, right? Think about the amount of conversion data you're bringing to your ad account. Think about all the new customers you're bringing into your funnel, the emails that you're collecting, how this is going to set you up for next year. Okay, so just be careful. Don't get too caught up in the moment. Focus on the long-term vision of your business, and I think you're going to get a lot farther. So you won't take, yes, you have to risk it to succeed, and I think those that take the biggest swings tend to win. But at the same time, think long-term and make sure that you're, keeping your long-term longevity at the top of your mind. So anyways, that's essentially the strategy that I'm going to do. If you guys have any questions, I recommend that you join my school community. We're going to be doing extra calls during the week of Black Friday, 1 call every day, Monday through Friday, the week before Black Friday, and I'll be online the entire Black Friday period. So I'll be available for questions, to jump on calls, to help you guys absolutely crush it this year. Because what I've experienced is that one Black Friday period can not only change the entire trajectory of your business, but it can change your entire life, literally. It basically did for me. My success with this one client allowed, they trusted me enough to give me several other ad accounts, which then I have been able to scale again. I've made them so much money that obviously, I'm managing more and now I'm making more money, and it's just a win-win situation. So don't take this lightly. Take it serious. and do your best work, okay? All the testing has been done. Now is the time to put your best foot forward, your best offer forward, and really go for it. So again, we have a 60% off Black Friday offer going on. So you can actually join the school community at a super discounted rate. This is the lowest the price will ever go, okay? On December 1st, 2025, I'm increasing the price of the group to $199 a month because we're investing so much into the group. We're adding courses, we're adding coaches. I mean, it's amazing, and the feedback is phenomenal. So if you've been on the fence about joining the group, right now is the time to join. Click the link below this video, join up. We have a 7-day free trial and a 1-year money back guarantee. So there's no risk. I've taken all the risk away from the offer. It truly is a no-brainer offer. People join for the offer and they stay for the value. I have a sub 8% churn rate in the group. That means like barely anybody's leaving because they see how much value there is in the group. I mean, imagine you have a question, you post it in the group, and within a few hours, you're getting a detailed video response from me or one of my super experienced coaches, and you don't have to wonder anymore. You have somebody that has your back, and you have that safety net, which I feel like a lot of people need. And not only that, you have the ability to talk to others who are trying to do the same thing, who are trying to succeed. And just that alone, from an emotional standpoint, just from a support, like networking standpoint, is invaluable. So if that sounds like something that would interest you, take advantage of this now because it's only going to get more expensive. We will be doing several price hikes in 2026 as we continue to invest in the group. So get in on the ground floor. Trust me, you will not regret it. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gives you at least some direction as to how you can handle your Black Friday promos. And I hope that it helps you take your business to an entirely new level next year. And then you can join us in the school community and take it to the next level. I just want to say a quick thank you to all of you guys for following, engaging with my videos. As you can see, we recently hit 10,000 subscribers, which is huge. I started this channel in January of 2025, and I committed to uploading one video per week, and I stuck to that. It was very difficult at times, right? You guys know I run my own freelance business. I have a community now, so it's a lot to do that, plus make content, be a good husband. Now just had my first kid here in September, so new dad as well. So there was a lot of times where I was like, I'm not gonna upload a video. It would be easy, but I knew that if I did that, it would be easier the next time to say, I won't do it. So this is just a testament to staying consistent. Not all my videos hit, right? You can see my views, like some of them didn't do well at all, right? But that's fine. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing across all the ad accounts, and it's not always the sexiest, most exciting clickbait content. I'm not trying to make clickbait content. I'm just trying to provide value to the real ones out there that are actually trying to improve their business, that aren't trying to get rich quick. Like, there's no shortcuts in life. I think being able to delay your gratification and stick to something is a very powerful skill. So this is just another example in my life where I've done that, and I encourage you to do the same. So anyways, that's it. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.